So today's question is, what mango varieties are most reliable at giving multiple crops each year, like 2 or more crops? And of course, weather is a big influence. Last year we had a whole bunch of cool and warm weather cycles through the winter, and that produced multiple crops in some varieties and nothing in others. But for reliable multiple crops, we go back further than the last couple years, and 3 varieties come to mind. First is Dwarf Hawaiian. It will often produce 2 or 3 crops in succession, so you'll have, like 2.5 months worth of fruit. Of course, Rosa is another one. That's our very earliest variety, that reliably, and that will have fruit sometimes in March, but usually like April. And then after the first crop, it will flower again. And so sometimes there's even 2 months in between crops. And then the last of our most reliably multi-crop varieties is Kit. Kit usually flowers early and often will set some fruit from that, and then will flower once or twice more. And there are some people that get Kit to flower more than that, but that's enough for us. We'd like to have some mangoes to sell while they're green. And then, of course, the last crop is usually our latest mango variety available in the season, and we really look forward to those. So there are other varieties that are not quite as reliable in the land of multi-crop mangoes. And the 2 that come to mind are Rosy Gold and Jakarta. And Rosy Gold often will have mangoes like in March, and then another crop that is like in June or July. For us, we've had 1 crop per year on our tree so far. But we'll keep you updated if that changes. And Jakarta, I don't think it's typical for many people to have multiple crops on their Jakarta trees, but for us, 2 is very normal, and sometimes we get like a little hint of a 3rd crop per year on Jakarta, so that one definitely makes the list for us. And just to make sure that I get all of the varieties, I'm going to look at my cheat sheet, because there are a lot of other ones that will produce often, but not quite as often as those first 5. They include Julie, Namdak Mai, Turpentine, Neelam, Dot, and then there's the legend of Chakanan. And Chakanan, a lot of people refer to it as the miracle mango because it has mangoes in the winter. And I've had a Chakanan tree for, I would say, 15 years, and it's possible that I might have gotten 2 fruit one year in the off season. And we're talking like December, January type of timing. It's, for some people, it will produce in the off season. I've heard that if you take off most of the main crop of Chakanan, that it's more likely to produce in the off season. But again, I am not the expert on getting Chakanan to fruit in the off season, because there might have been 2 in the whole history of my tree that appeared in the off season in like December or January. So there are a whole lot of other varieties that sometimes give us more than 1 crop a year. If the weather sort of promotes multiple flowering, they get on board that train. So in order to make sure I get the complete list, I'm going to refer to my cheat sheet. And out of the last 4 years, possibly 3 years, were sort of unusual weather, and many of these varieties produced more than one crop for at least one of those years. So the list of sometimes multiple crop varieties includes Bailey's Marvel, Bombay, Kerry, Cogshall, Duncan, Edward, Elephant, Fairchild, Floragon, Gary, Glenn, Graham, Hayden, Jacqueline, Lemon Meringue, Madame Francique, Malika, Pettigrew, Pim Sang Mun, Prom Chimea, Ryan, Southern Blush, Tess Pollock, Valencia Pride, and Van Dyke. So that's our list of mango varieties that often have multiple crops. And of course, we made that list from our experience here in eastern Palm Beach County. Western Palm Beach County could have completely different results, and of course other countries, I have no idea how reliably multi-crop some of these varieties are under completely different conditions. So I hope the list was helpful, but of course also the tendency to have more than one crop a year is not the only consideration when planting a mango tree. There's disease resistance, the size of the tree, of course the flavor of the fruit, and the texture of the fruit, and the productivity in general. So the best advice I have is check out our varietal videos on this channel. We have made a lot of them. I think to date it's more than about 34, and we will be making more this upcoming mango season. So a lot of information out there, and so check out, do your research before you buy your plant, and good luck to you.